Hi, everyone. Welcome to our opening reception for Elevate, our latest online exhibition at Webster Arts. I'm Jenny Donaldson, the Executive Director. Behind the scenes with me tonight is Allison Erasmus, who put together this presentation and is handling all of the technical aspects tonight. Over the next 30 minutes or so, we are going to view our latest exhibition, Elevate. We are going to speak with our juror and also meet our award winners. Before we do that, though, I'd like to tell you just a little bit about Webster Arts for those of you who are not familiar with us. We are an art organization located in Webster Groves, probably best known for our outdoor art festival that happens every June. But what you may not know is that we also have a gallery and host about a half a dozen national juried exhibitions like this one every year. Right now, all of our exhibitions are virtual due to COVID, but we hope to return to in-person gallery exhibitions this September. One of the great things, though, that we have found about the virtual receptions is that because we have artists submitting artwork from all over the country, those artists are now able to join us. So actually for this exhibition, we are showcasing work from 21 different states. And we would love for you to use the comments tonight. We'd love to hear where you are joining us from. So if you want to take a minute to put that in the comments, we'll be looking at that as we go. And also tonight, as we go through this exhibition, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comments and we will be checking those throughout the night and get your questions answered. Before we get started with the show, I wanted to give a quick shout out to Bravo Boards STL. We offered a virtual reception kit to try to recreate the reception environment at home, and they worked with us to put that together. So thank you to Bravo Boards STL and for all of you that purchased these. And now on to Elevate. We have heard so many stories over this last year about how art has been so impactful during these dark times and challenging times. And we just kind of wanted to continue on that theme as we move into 2021. Things are definitely getting better, but we still feel like, we could use some positivity. And our artists agreed. We had 541 entries for this show, and our juror had to narrow that down to just 64. So as you can imagine, that was a lot of work and hard decisions to be made. And I have to say, I'm certainly glad I was not making those decisions. Our juror for tonight for the show is Kababi Bayak. He is an internationally known visual artist and illustrator that just so happens to reside in St. Louis. We're super excited to have him here and a part of the show. Kababi, welcome. Can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
I would love to. For all you watching, how's it going? Hope you're enjoying your evening, and thanks for hanging out with us for a bit. Like Jenny said, I'm an artist here in St. Louis. I'm a proud practicing artist for the past 26 years. Make my living anywhere from portraits to children's books to murals in schools and on buildings. That's kind of what I do. So I can really appreciate what everybody's doing and all the submissions that came. I'm not gonna really say too much more about myself other than I love what I do. And if anything, I just hope that my career inspires people to pursue what they enjoy doing. And especially like what's been going on. I think it's a very brave move to still follow your dream despite the uncertainty going on and just not knowing where tomorrow is. So to follow your passion and paint and create, even if it's a hobby, I commend you for that. With that being said, I have some words to say about jurying and this whole submitting to a show process, but I'll save that until after we talk about the art and what had to go through my mind in making these selections. So yeah. To dive in, look at the art, and then I'll share what my brain was going through as I had to make choices on what was going to be in the show. So if I am to just continue on, I will say that I definitely started off mainly thinking about the title and theme of the show and what that means. But like in my earlier comment, I had to think about just the nerve it takes just to even create art in these times or ever. I think it's always a bold move to pursue arts because it's still not really shown as a way to make a living, even though people are doing it. It's still not believable to everybody. So just the fact of being in it, I thought about that as well. And as a juror, I come to the show where I am at this point. And just a quick note to, depending on who's watching, those who both made it in the show and those who didn't and want to see who made it in the show. I'm very fortunate that I don't really have to submit to any of these anymore. And I say that because we put a lot of weight in what the jury chooses, but just got to remember that I'm a human and I judge from an eye that only I developed and time has developed. So it has nothing to do with the value of anybody's work. So let this not be a deterrent. Just continue to submit and continue to just more than anything believe in yourself. And so just looking at some of the work that was submitted, I love the themes, I love the subjects, I love the idea. I mean, just the whole idea, the steps and how that elevates up. I mean, that just as a metaphor, it could just say a lot. And even the piece there with the kid and the Amish. I mean, just thinking about what everybody else has gone through, like the things we take for granted, they don't want. So I thought that's kind of what I was thinking when I chose that piece. Like that's a powerful statement. And I had to think too that I wanted to make sure that I didn't stop things that I necessarily wouldn't create from being in the show because that's hard to do. I just wanted to stay as open as possible and just think about what went into creating some of these pieces. And you got to remember too, when I was choosing, I didn't have a statement or what the artwork meant. I didn't have any of those tools to kind of guide what was going on in the artist's head. That being said, your intention is something that only you can hold on to. Like I didn't have that. So I had to just go from what I was seeing and what it could mean to me and what I thought you were trying to say and a little bit of what I thought people would want to see based on the theme. So like you said, I had a lot of maybes. I had a yes, no, maybe process. So I had a lot of maybes. So it was hard to turn some of those into no's and to make some of them yeses. Like had an amazing variety of work submitted. So I really appreciate all that I got to see because I mean all these add to my own encyclopedia of work and the way I'll view work. So I appreciate what everybody has submitted. So yeah, I'm just proud of the work and I hope you guys are too. I didn't know if you wanted our winners to speak while these are going, if we're going to do that afterwards.
Yeah, we'll probably do that afterwards.
Okay.
One of the things I was thinking while you were speaking, though, I mean, do you think, having the artist statement maybe would have influenced your decision differently? Like typically if you see these on the walls of a gallery, we don't have the artist statement either, and so I wonder,
Absolutely.
would you have, preferred to have the artist statement with it? Or do you kind of like, as the juror, to be able to interpret it, the way you see it potentially?
I don't necessarily need it, but I guess I guess that's a nice part of an art show. Like when people are there in person, or what's going to become more of these kind of settings. This is a space for the artists to share what they were thinking when maybe it's good for my favorite singing show is The Voice. So where they can't see the person, they just have to go off the voice. So it's kind of the same thing with this, with the art. I think it's, again, I mean, they're creating what they create, their intention, but then it flips over to, all right, now it's up to the juror and my sight, my mental eye, my physical eye, what translates and what I think will fit into this body of work that's going to make up the show titled Elevate. Like, I don't have whether it's a good or a bad thing that I had the statement, just pretty much saying that, just to put out there that I didn't have that statement. So
Right.
It may have very well influenced. It might be a completely different show had I had statements to look at. So I don't know if there's good or bad. I think it just is what it is.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and reading, you know,
It
500
would have made it longer. Yes,
would have been
absolutely.
quite the challenge.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Allison, do we have any questions yet in the comments?
Nope, just people saying hello from Philadelphia, Las Vegas, Bridgewater, New Jersey, Denver, Colorado. All sorts of places, Atlanta, Georgia, Springfield, Holland, Michigan. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, it sounds like we've got a good crew tonight turning in from all over. Well, with that, we are going to go ahead and announce the award winners. And then if there are more questions, we can get to that in just a little bit. Our first award of excellence goes to Bruce Dean for his piece titled Aurora. And Bruce is on the call with us, joining us from California. Let's start maybe with Kababi. Why don't you talk about why you chose this piece, and then we'll jump in and hear from Bruce.
I chose it. It spoke to me with the light. I love that I don't know what is up there. Like, of course, I can assume there's sunlight, but just thinking about elevate, thinking about these times, like we all got to walk sometimes in faith of the choices we're making are going to lead to something positive, because what we are sitting in right now isn't so certain. So that just definitely fed into the theme for me. And I appreciate the line and the tones as well. Just in the craftsmanship, both the tightness and the looseness in the mix. So yeah, there are just quite a few cool elements that spoke to me. And now I'm looking at it, almost looks like in the back, there are steps going down. So it's a lot of questions. And it seemed to have an abstract feel to it. So yeah, I just like what he did with the piece.
Thank you, actually. I really like what you said about the piece. For the last 30 years, I've been an abstract artist. I went to visit my daughter in Rome. My wife and I went to Rome to see her for the first time, actually. And seeing the art of the last centuries, it really changed my work. I began to do figurative work for the first time in a while. I began to do interiors. In both my abstractions and my newer paintings, I love the idea of mystery. I like the idea that, well, I want the viewer to think about what might have just preceded, what comes after, what might be around the corner, what's just out of sight. When I make a painting, sometimes the painting after it's done will tell me what it's about. When I saw the title of your show, Elevate, I thought I have to enter this painting. And I realized that aside from just mystery, this painting is about perhaps moving upward, moving toward information, moving toward truth, away from ignorance. I really enjoy the fact that sometimes the viewer will help me with the narration, that I will offer something that isn't quite complete, where there's some mystery still involved, and the viewer will, along with me, decide what might have just taken place before or just after. Thank you. I really liked your explanation of the piece. And yes, there are stairs going down in the dark, down to the left as well.
Right on.
Was this a specific place, or is this, just a place you created?
It's not a real place. The work that I've been doing since I stopped doing the abstraction, most recently, is all empty interiors. And that gives me the opportunity to continue to use the abstract elements while painting space and light. So no, it's not a specific place. But it's like a lot of the paintings I've done of staircases. There's an up and a down. There's a dark either at the top or at the bottom. I like the fact for this show that the light is at the top. And I feel that it's definitely about moving upward, not moving downward.
Yeah, it is a great depiction for this show for sure. Allison, did we have any questions about this piece?
No questions. One comment from Lynn Bose, Bruce Dean, when we travel, I'm always fascinated with old, well-worn steps. So much to imagine.
Well, I love the wabi-sabi of old things, and I've been really influenced by old maps and old images that have worn away a little bit. I really like that aspect of things, and somehow that always enters into my work a little bit.
All right. And if those of you that are watching are interested in viewing more of Bruce's work, his website is brucedeanart.com. So go ahead and head over there after the show and check out some more of his work.
Thank you.
Our next Award of Excellence winner is Gary Epting for Water Trade. He could not be here with us tonight. And so Kababi, if you just want to jump in and say what struck you about this piece, we'd love to hear from you, and then we'll move on to our last award.
I didn't know what the title meant, but looking at the work and just thinking about the things going on with women in society, in the world, and just the way, especially the figure with the blue, just seems just standing up, and then the character to the right of her kneeling on her hand. I don't know, some of the elements just struck me. And then having all these layers, there's so many questions on what is going on here. So I appreciate how it was laid out. And now I'm seeing more stuff on the bottom that I didn't see before. So I love the composition. Yeah, I always enjoy things with layers, because I just think he had to be thinking something special, creating all these different pieces and what they come from. You know, why are they in there? Why are some of these swirls? Like, what does it mean? I like pieces that make me stand in front of them and just look at them and think. And again, more than anything, just the fact that none of the women look defeated. They look like they own their space, but they're all different also. So those are the things that hit me and kept me going back to this piece and thinking about where I was going to put it and how it was going to fit in the show.
Sure. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you for your insight. All right. And now for our last award, Best of Show, goes to Martin Dunn for his piece called Crossroad. Martin is joining us from Florida, and he made the effort. He is camping out in the middle of nowhere and found some cell coverage and is joining us from his car. So in just a minute, we'll hear from him. And Kababi, do you want to go first with this one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say for, obvious reasons, but just thinking about the year we've had and the name of the show and what's going on, and just all the CNN threads and all that. I'll just start with that as far as what the two figures in the foreground speak to, what people need to see right now. But then after that, getting past that, because a lot of people have done that, but then I'm also thinking about craftsmanship and just what's in the work. And I dig the architecture element. I don't know where this place is. It could be anywhere. It could be somewhere. I like what looks like is a bridge in the back being destroyed, and then what that could symbolize. Yeah, so those are things that hit me. So when I was going through all the slides, this is definitely when earlier on I was thinking about what connects with the title of the show and what's going on right now. And then a lot of the other art fit into, okay, I want to broaden it beyond just specifically about Elevate, because a lot of it for me wasn't speaking to that. And so I had to figure out another way to approach my eye. But this definitely, if I just looked at what I expected Elevate to mean and the times, I think this hit right on. So I think I'm glad he submitted it.
Thanks, Kababi. I really appreciate your comments. There a lot of what you said is exactly what I had in mind when I was creating this. I think one thing that I've learned in art is that if I can just discipline myself to sit back and, like Bruce said, just let the piece develop, then it's a lot more interesting at the end than what I was thinking at the start. This started out to be mainly about the hug between the police officer and the protester, and the rest of it developed behind it. I still don't know exactly how the architectural background came into it, but I'm glad it did. It's from a post-World War II photograph of a European city, probably Dresden. And I think it illustrates one of the questions that the painting asks, and that is, have we adequately considered our choices and our consequences? It was painted in May when everything was starting to get pretty dicey as far as all the unrest and the unknowing about what was happening with COVID. And I think what I wanted to present was more than anything else was what's on the poster there that the girl is holding up in the middle of the painting. I changed that poster I don't know how many times before I settled on the quote from Dr. King that says, "The time is always right to do what is right." And one little thing that I doubt that anybody notices, except, you know, just a few people, but on the balcony on the right, you just see a hand parting the curtain there. And I put that in there at the last just to say that non-involvement is not an option. You know, we're all involved one way or the other. We can try to hide from it, but we're all involved. And if we can put something positive into it, then we can move forward.
Thank you for that explanation, Marty. I mean, definitely, you know, really sums up kind of where we're at right now in our society, and encouraging people to take part and do the right thing, for sure.
Oh, could I mention one other thing that was I thought was really interesting, was that I didn't realize that the insignia, about the meaning of the insignia on the police officer's shoulder. Of a friend who's more knowledgeable than I am explained it to me, but apparently that ranking indicates that this man has risen through the ranks. He probably started as a beat officer and worked his way up. He's not one of the ones that got a college degree in criminology and just entered at the administration level.
That's interesting. Did you use any photographs from the protests to inspire this, or is this just an image from your head, you know, based on what you saw?
My granddaughter sent me the image of the police officer and the protester hugging and said, "I think this will make a good painting."
Nice. All
Yeah, one
right.
of my favorite shows is favorite movies that I watch over and over is The Great Debaters. And one scene in there during one of her debates, she used that quote that you have up with Martin.
Mhm.
So yeah, the time to always, right now is, you know, it's the time, the right time to make the right decision is always right now. Yeah, it's all, yeah, that scene always hits me. So yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I would agree. It's right on the times right now. I guess let's go back. Allison, do we have any other questions or comments about the award winners or anything about the show? And if you have a question, don't be shy. Go ahead and add it into the comments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we have beautiful work in response to the Best in Show. Jamie Edwards says should hang in a university hall. So looks like both pieces are for sale for the artists who are here tonight. So if we need to start building a collection, we have pieces for that. Tammy Louise says beautiful work. Mara Mudd says so powerful. I believe Mara is an artist in our show. And we do have a lot of local artists, local to Missouri, watching tonight: Webster Groves, Baldwin, and we also have people from Arizona. Don't know if I said that before. Lawrence, Kansas. Somebody from Canada is tuned in right now. Sorry if I'm going to butcher your name. Cesare Archie Ceballos asks, what does the mask represent on the left side of the painting that we're looking at right now?
That's a Guy Fawkes mask. And that was popularized in the graphic novel and then the movie V for Vendetta. And it's become kind of a symbol of anarchy.
I say, yeah, a lot of people wear those at protests too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Is the whole scene on the bottom from one photo, or did you pick several?
Several.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah, I appreciate. Also, I had no idea where they're looking, because one thing I have a hard time doing in my work is having people look off the canvas, but I also like the question that it poses when you do that. So I think it's cool that a lot of the main subjects that catch our eye are all looking to the left. Like, what else are they looking at? Because they're not all looking at this hug. So what else is going on?
Cool.
All right, and I don't think I mentioned, if you are interested in looking at any more of Marty's work, his website is martydunnartist.com. And also Kebabi's is kebabibayak.com. So if you are looking to see more of any of these people that we talked tonight, those can be where you can look. You can email me if you have questions. So Allison, if we don't have anything else, I think we'll wrap up for the night. Is there anything else?
No, I think we're good.
All right, so on the screen, you'll see this show will actually be on our website through April 30th. I know we flipped through them kind of quickly tonight. We want to be respectful of everybody's time, but they are on our website and you'll see the link there. Allison's also put them in a virtual gallery, so you can, imagine what they would look like if they were actually hanging. And as Allison mentioned, a lot of these works are for sale, so it'd be great if you're looking to spruce up your office to support some of these artists. You can just reach out to us if you're interested. So thanks for joining us tonight. We hope you will stay connected with Webster Arts. You can join us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also on our website, you can sign up for our monthly newsletter. And our next event is Paint Webster. We're excited. It's actually an in-person plein air event because we feel like we can do that safely in COVID. So it's time to get outside and enjoy some fresh air at a socially distant way. So anyway, thank you so much to Marty and Bruce for joining us. Kebabi, thank you for all the work you did and to put the show together for us. We're grateful to have you all here. And thank you everyone for joining.
This went much more smoothly than other shows that I've been involved with in the last year. So congratulations. Nice piece, Marty. I'd like to very much. Kebabi, you did a great job. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you,
Y'all take
everybody.
care, man. Be safe.